Infinity FM Galate. Infinity FM lónìgboro. Àwa la ṣojú ìjọba abẹnugan fún mẹ̀kúnnù àwa ṣàlùyẹ. Infinity FM Galate. Infinity FM lónìgboro. Ẹ̀sọ́ tí bí tiwa ní ẹ̀pọ̀lọ́wọ́ ọjà kẹ́ẹ̀ẹ́sẹ̀ ṣẹ̀dẹ̀. Infinity FM Galate. Infinity FM lónìgboro. Ṣé ìpè ìsọ́ni ẹ̀ máa kọ́ ẹ̀ máa yí kúrò rárá? Infinity FM Galate. Infinity FM lónìgboro.
From the mountaintop, the sound is loud and clear. It's Vicinity 95.3 FM, Ìkejìlé Ìjẹ̀ṣà. In the state of the living spring, right on the mountaintop, a baby was born, ready to take the world by storm. Welcome to our Vicinity 95.3 FM, Ìkejìlé Ìjẹ̀ṣà.
It's melody song.
people. It's a way of showing them that you see them and you recognize whatever they do, their contributions in any field at all. Today, it's public holidays, June 12th. I hope our teachers are having a swell time in resting for the day. Now, this is one thing you get to enjoy as a teacher. In all of these public holidays, you get to stay at home. Well, I'm not saying that it's a big enjoyment, but it's something that would make you stay away from work. You get to tend to other things that matter. So, happy holiday and happy Democracy Day. I know if I ask you, what would you want for Democracy Day? You say you want a fair and better packages for teachers. I'm also on that queue with you. Yes, I'm shouting it loud and clear because this is what we want. But gone were those days when they say teachers' reward is in teachers. The reward of teachers is in heaven. Oh, it's a reward we get in heaven. That's different. No, teachers' reward is here on earth. Let me begin by saying this. So we appreciate, platforms and organizations now recognizing the contribution of teachers, because if we do not do this, we will now encourage others, to come and tell themselves that they can, do amazing things as teachers. So we understand why it's important. When we see other competitions these days or platforms giving people a venue to come showcase their talent, or we award them, let's go to the creative industry. Outside the country, on international scene, you see 15 awards in a year. You talk about BET, the Grammy, all of that, just to award people that are doing drama, people that are shouting and crying and making us laugh. Yeah, we enjoy them. We enjoy all of these movies and all of that. And at the end of the day, they get to, recognize them, show gratitude for all of their amazing work, in the creative industry. And we ask, how about us in the classrooms? We get to do a lot to raising your children. They are taking their awards, displaying and crying for us on TV. We are the one raising your kids. What do we get? And in far back as we know it, we don't have these big platforms, where we are kind of give back to education. We give back to creative industry, to tech, to this. What are we doing with our teachers? Let's give back to them. Let's create more platforms where we get to appreciate, recognize, and give them awards. And not just award that you wrap two books together, or give me, or you just wrap something that I'm like, what's this? Something that's very encouraging. And last year, Teachers Day, let's be frank, Ekiti State did something, awarded teachers with millions of naira, teachers who, they've seen the part they play in the life of children, and they have distinguished themselves. And we see other people do these things. So this brings me to, we creating more platforms to appreciate teachers and organizations, not only, putting money into entertainment. I know, yeah, entertainment make a lot of money for us, but let's consider, building our nation. Entertainment is not going to build our nation for us. Entertainment is not going to solve our political and economic problems. It's only going to solve our, knack for, entertainment, and that's it. Yeah, we laugh, we cry, we dance, we enjoy your music, your movies, and that's it. It helps us, go by each day, not being stressed up. It relieves our stress. But with that, we are still faced with our economic challenges. Who is going to help us solve it? So education is important for building the nation. So how do we get to encourage these people who are, bridging the divide? And now this brings me to, I've made a call that let's create more platforms where we get to appreciate these people more. And thankfully, one of the things I will be dwelling on today is, seeing people recently, either international organizations or local platforms, creating an avenue to appreciate teachers. Just this year, late last year to this year, we've seen, two teachers. There's a teacher in Ogun State, who was recognized by Ogun State government after an international, body decided, to award him, millions in dollars, because he decided to find a way to teach students mathematics. When we talk about very difficult subjects in schools, mathematics is a big deal. And this teacher decided that, okay, instead of allowing these children fail or not even grabbing the essence of understanding arithmetic and all of that, let's, introduce another system. And he started to teach mathematics in Yoruba. The funniest thing is, if you teach me mathematics in Yoruba and I eventually go into an examination hall and I aced it, who is going to ask, how did you learn to be able to solve mathematical problem like this? What language were you? In what language was the message conveyed? Honestly, nobody cares. All they care about is, you're doing well and you have a good academic standing. And this teacher was recognized and also bring the attention of the Ogun State governor, who also appreciated the teacher with a cash, prize. Now, we are also seeking that, there will be other endowment trusts fund grants to these teachers who are doing exceptional jobs and who have been exceptional at their roles. This brings me to this. So yesterday, 12 Nigerian teachers were honored with the Get Up second cohort by Grooming Endowment Trust. They recognized 12 teachers across the country were awarded 200,000 naira in grants. This is what we're talking about, grants, cash prize, appreciating these teachers. And they were selected, 12 of them were selected across the country. And I think this is beautiful. Let's continue, to see, organizations pay attention, to the education sector. And this is because the Grooming Endowment Trust said it is about strengthening the education sector and uplifting those at the art of learning. Imagine if we all also pour some of our resources, to the education sector, building more infrastructure, and also encouraging these teachers. See how long we'll go when it comes to, improving the education sector. And the program also seeks to recognize the dedication and impact of teachers working in under-resourced communities. This is why I really appreciated this. The moment you hear, oh, teachers were giving 200,000 grants, say, it's all these big schools, in the towns and cities where they get recognized. No, this particular organization has started to, look inwards, go to remote areas, go to rural areas where teachers, I know teachers even in the cities and towns are doing a lot, but the remote areas, like, is double trouble for them because, one, you don't have the kind of infrastructure you have in the city. Two, the kind of pupils you have in the village too, they are not that exposed. So teaching them is like, you have to double your efforts. I'm not saying we don't have smart children in public schools in the rural areas, don't get me wrong, but they don't have this exposure that much. They don't have phones that will help them, do their assignments, access resources. Students in public schools or private schools in the cities, they have, people who have phones, they have electricity, they can always find a means to access resources, educational resources, to do their assignment and also learn, especially for those who are bookworms and who love to study. So that's why I said, for a teacher in rural area, they they have to double their efforts, to see they bridge the gap to helping students and pupils be better and learn as their counterparts in the cities. So I appreciate that GetTab is reaching out to teachers in the rural areas. You can say 200,000 naira. How much is 200,000 naira? But it's a way to support these teachers. We're not saying that's enough, but support is something that's we're giving them to say thank you for all the work you do. It's Teachers Affairs. You can join the conversation this afternoon on our Facebook and YouTube. And you can also call us on 081-3237-1268. This is your number one program where we get to bring you updates on everything teachers. Yeah, updates on news, recruitment, and what's happening, in the education sector out there. Do well, to join us this afternoon. Be right back.
It's Melody Song.
So this is a sad one. FCT, anytime you hear me talk about FCT, schools in the FCT, it's sad to hear that, public school teachers are still on strike. I remember there was a time the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, warned head of councils, in this local government area, saying if you're not paying your teachers, then why do you get allocation? What are you doing with the allocation? And he has warned that if they don't pay, they will get their job. Their job will be on the line. But as it is, I'm not sure they got the message, because now parents have started to withdraw their pupils from primary schools, yeah, especially in these schools where teachers are still on strike. They say, well, they don't know how long this will last. This has been going on for 2 months now, and until now, there's no hope, for parents seeing their children, sit at home, for no just cause. And some parents have decided, to move their children to private schools, those who can afford it. And those who do not have the means have decided to stay put. You know what this means? So we're appealing to, the Federal Capital Territory Administration under the leadership of the Minister, Ensom Wike, to address this. It's important that something is done, to resolve this issue. They're only asking for 40% of the peculiar allowance and payment of new minimum wage, and their arrears. You're owing teachers arrears. And then you have people get to ask this question now: how much are you owing teachers that you're not even paying them? And then they have, arrears, unpaid, minimum wage not implemented, and other, allowances that they do not get. They are asking that you should do this. And one of the things is, when it's a problem, we all think it's a group of people that suffer it. So this is it. Whenever teachers are crying that, okay, pay us, parents also will be in the house, thinking about, if something goes south, our children will return home. So when problems like this, arise, you don't see just a group of people suffer it. Now children's at home, they are bearing the brunt of this, their parents as well, and the teachers. So these are categories of people. And they're not making these children learn. They're out of school. You know what this means. And we don't want a lot over, 5 million out of school children. We don't want to increase the numbers. So let's get them back to class. And this is sad, in the Federal Capital Territory for that matter. Moving away from that. So this brings me to this. Somebody is proposing a new policy that, okay, let's raise a qualification of educationists to master's degree. I'm like, in Nigeria, and so we can pay teachers 400,000. I'll bring you this story after this break. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for staying tuned. So, Education Development Advocate and CEO of Educare, Alex Onya, has called for sweeping reforms in Nigeria's education, saying that we should enforce stricter measures and academic qualifications for teachers. Well, let's applaud, the Ministry of Education and also UBEC and all of these organizations, in charge. Recently, you will have seen or noticed or observed that even recent recruitments, you see that teachers are well, scrutinized. They go through this process, they do tests, interviews, and computer-based tests. And if you don't pass it, you're out, because we don't want to bring in teachers who are not qualified. But now, Alex Onya is asking, the sector to raise the bar, saying, let's raise it to the minimum qualification for teachers, a master's degree or a minimum of second class upper. So this is it. Somehow we graduate with a certain, maybe a second class upper or second class lower. I've seen third class do amazing things, doing great things in the sector where they find themselves. Wow, fine. While we say educational qualification is important, but we cannot judge people's contribution, just depending on this, or what they can offer, depending on just their education qualification. I'd say master's degree. Well, I don't want to conclude, but Onya should have a reason for saying maybe master's degree or a minimum of second class upper. Let's not forget we still have College of Education, and graduates of College of Education are admitted into schools to teach in primary schools, and that is one of is a qualification. And now if you're saying master's degree, long okay, so this is just something he's saying, and hoping that maybe government will listen. Say this will help improve academic standards of teachers, and also this will rub off on children. Master's degree, and saying, well, if we have master's degree holders or second class upper graduates in classrooms, he's also recommending a salary of over 400,000 naira, up from the earlier suggestion of 300,000, along with the provision of a brand new car to be paid off by the teacher over time. So it's not a gift. The brand new car, you get to pay, gradually, they call it, this, you get to pay in bits until you're able to. Well, this is a lot. Now, let's start with this. We're asking that, the highest qualification should be second class upper. Do we have good classrooms that can, allow these people to be? Let's go to the roots first. Let's visit the roots of some of this, situation. Like our classrooms are leaking. Just recently, we saw some videos trending online where YX students sitting for the West Africa examination cancel. Had to take, is it one of the English papers at night due to leakage and all of that. There was no electricity. Some of them, there was even a school in the north that the roof collapsed on top of the students while they were taking their exams. Some of them were injured. These students they didn't ask for much. Just give us an environment, a good environment, a serene environment, something that we can, that's not too much, just a good place for us to learn. And we're still tackling that. They're asking that we raise the bar for qualification. Well, I'm not trying to discard this, but let's start addressing, some of the root cause before we talk about other things we want to introduce, because this is a lot. And I think it's a suggestion, so it can be looked at. But at the end of the day, if you are saying that the qualification of teachers should be raised, well, I think our infrastructures too should be well positioned, and we have better infrastructure. And now, given AI, honestly, teachers now should, start improving on learning how to use computer, because with the help of artificial intelligence, there's a lot we can do. Artificial intelligence help you access resources fast and easy. It's just like asking anything and it delivers it to you. It shows you how to better prepare for your lectures, your lessons, and all of that. I think this is one of the things we should, call on or make, urgent call for. And we can't do this if we don't have computers in our school. But let's not forget, WAEC is also proposing that just like JAM sits for, when you're taking JAM examination, you have to do it. It's computer based for over a decade now. Yeah, more than a decade. JAM has been, you go for JAM examination, computer based test. And WAEC is saying, let us also have computer based tests. Let's stop carrying papers around where we have leakages and people get to, do a lot of things, and, printing question papers, it costs so much. So let's reduce the cost and let's make, sitting for WAEC more efficient. Raise the bar. Let's join, the Joint Admission Matriculation Board as well, to take exams through computer-based tests. But let's not forget, JAM is just a day. You sit for that exam one day. But WAEC, you have to take series of papers because you have to sit for the subjects. Yeah, maybe 6, 7, 8 subjects. So it's not paper you sit. It's not a one-time sitting. You take 8 papers, and these papers are in categories. You have objective, you have theory, you have part A, part B, and all of that. So if we're proposing that, you know what this means? Teachers, you have to get them computers. Now you get computers to school, and some teachers cannot even operate computers. So what is the computer doing there? So there is this call for digital literacy for our teachers. So let's start buying computers. This is a lot. If WAEC is proposing this, you know what this means for schools, private, public schools. But let's even go to the public sector. That means at every public schools where students get to write this exam, either junior certificate or senior certificate examination, we have to buy computers in these schools, and our teachers should learn how to use these computers. So let's even start with that. Getting these computers into the schools, and allowing our teachers know how to operate, increase in digital literacy, and also helping the students. Some of these students really don't even know how to operate a computer, so we have to start from there. And when we have that, then we can talk about computer-based tests for WAEC. And these computers as well, at the end of the day, when you don't only sit for WAEC once in a year, so teachers can have access, especially when it's connected to internet, they can access resources and also use AI to make them more efficient in classrooms. Honestly, let's start finding a way to make our work easy. And this is one way to go. But government, I hope government is standing up to this call, because it's a lot, it's going to cost a lot. And while we know government cannot do it alone, other stakeholders in the education sector, have to bring in what they have in private sector, supporting, government efforts to see that this is a dream come true. Yes, let's have computer-based tests for WAEC. It's not a bad call. but we know a lot of things have to put a lot of things on ground, to achieve this. This is a good call. Now, this brings me to concerns at some top Abuja schools ban teachers from using phones. Do you think this is okay to ask teachers not to bring phones to class? Well, there you have it, top Abuja schools. So not just anyhow school.
It's melody song.
Yeah, I know you love to hear that story. I said, atop Abuja schools have banned teachers from using phones. We talk about challenges in public sector, we come to private sector, hear a different thing entirely. Now, this is the period of the ban. So the policy ban is going to last between 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can have access to your phones at this point during this time. That means all through the time you'll be in class or the school is in session, you can't hold on to your phone. But this move has sparked, concerns from even teachers, parents, and other stakeholders, with questions being raised about its impact on teaching, emergency communication, and professional autonomy of tutors. Now, I like the fact that they mention emergency communication. These teachers have their lives. They have their lives outside, the classroom. So if something is happening to whatever it is, to them, outside the classroom, you don't want them to connect with the world and know what's going on in their lives. So it's until they're done with their work, then they can now have access to their phones. Come on, somehow let's reason. Let's all reason together. We have to reason together on this one. While school management argue that the decision aims to enhance discipline and improve teacher standards, critics says the policy raises concerns about practicality, fairness, and potential overreach. Well, this is huge, because if you say they should not touch their phones, how about emergency communications? What's going to be the impact on the teachers? What if they just really need to check on something to help enhance their teaching in class? What about other concerns? We should look at these things. At the end of the day, if this pull through in these schools, well, if the teacher some teachers just feel, they cannot cope, it means they will have to leave the job. But some are saying the policy is disrespectful and is harsh. And before you jump on saying, okay, they are banning phones in schools, okay, it's just some schools in the Federal Capital Territory. When you say some schools, they are big, top-notch, educational centers where you get to pay a lot of money. And they're saying, teachers, put your phones in your bags. Do you agree to this? Would you, if you're a teacher and something like this, disturbs you, or you work in a school where they ask you to put away your phones, what are you going to do about it? Well, somehow parents are also supporting, the teachers, saying, no, you can't take away their phones, because these teachers have children, they have families, and they have to communicate. You can't ask them to be locked outside you're putting them away from the world. You're asking us not to connect with the world because we have a job in the classroom. There are sometimes they have breaks where they are not taking classes. Let them access their phone at that period. The only problem I have is if they have their phones with them while they should, be engaging students. That's when you have problem, or their pupils. Or if they have breaks, they can, go through their phones and do whatever they want to do. Well, I don't have much time on the show this afternoon. Some of these things, I think next week we will be engaging, some of our experts in the field, to let them share their views, because sometimes when you see some of these things, you just want to hear, from another angle what this all means. So this is why you should join the conversation next week on Teachers of Fears of Vicinity 95.3 FM. Until then, I'm yours truly, Oluwafunke, the executive producer, Adeshola Salami. And thanks to the technical crew for making this a smooth ride. Bye for now.
It's Lukaku!